Welcome, everyone. Those who are able, would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I call this meeting to order. It's the regular board meeting, June 27th of 25. And can we take attendance, please? Diane?
Roll call for attendance purposes. Trustee Couch, not present. Trustee Daly, not present. Trustee Dotson, not present. Trustee Miller? Here. Trustee Reyes?
Present.
Trustee Walcott? Here. Chair Swanson?
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Okay, I had talked with Trustee Dotson earlier today, and she was waiting for her doctor to call. There was a medical issue, and she didn't know if she was going to be here, but she just wanted me to say that that she had told me that she wished she could be here, but it's something with the doctor. So, okay. All right. Additions to the agenda. All right, now there's one, excuse me, Art, there's one that needs to be changed on the advice of Larry, the CFO. The tax millage issue should not be voted on before the public hearing on the budget. So it should be removed from the consent agenda. Therefore, I'll entertain a motion to that removes the item 1.46, approval of the tax millage rates, from the consent agenda and places it as the first item following the public hearing of the budget.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a seconded. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, motion passed. Are there any other additions?
We need to vote.
Oh, we probably should. Yeah. Why don't we vote on that, Art? Oops.
I'll take a roll call vote.
Yeah, we probably should.
Okay. Trustee Reyes?
Aye.
Trustee Walcott?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Chair Swanson?
Yeah, I'd already said yes, but yes. Okay.
Motion passes.
Now we're to any other changes or additions to the agenda. None? Okay. So we can adopt the agenda. I would entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? How about we vote on this one right now?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just want to note, and I don't know if this is applicable right now, but to note the item 1.44 and item 1.45 should state Treasurer's Report for 2024, or I'm sorry, for 2025 for both and not 2024, so there's a typo.
I was going to bring that up when we came to the consent agenda.
Okay.
Okay, roll call vote.
Take a roll vote on the adoption of the agenda as amended. Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Walcott?
Yes.
Trustee Reyes?
Aye.
And Chair Swanson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, item 4, recognition and awards. Shonda, would you please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. For our first recognition, I would like to invite Mr. Al Perry to discuss our athletic achievements from this past season. And a number of our athletes are here with us. Mr. Perry, you're welcome to invite them forward with you. Mr. Perry is our acting Associate Vice President of Student Success Services.
Thank you, Madam President, Board. Really excited to share some fantastic athletic accomplishments with you. The sports seasons have wrapped up for this academic year, and we have some tremendous student athletes that are here with us today. To introduce first the men's and women's golf team, I'm going to have Tim Nestor join me at the table. He's our head men's and women's golf coach. He's been the men's coach for 6 years, the women's coach since its inception, so 3 years now. He's a 5-time Eastern Conference Coach of the Year and a proud father of 2 former Mott student athletes. So, Tim? Yeah.
Thank you. I'd just like to take a second to thank the board for all your continued support in our athletics programs, and what you provide and give these student athletes the opportunity to do and achieve here in the community is really remarkable. So I'd like to thank you all for that. First, I'll introduce my new girls assistant coach that we just hired in April. This is Jermaine Jones, and I'll let you he can tell himself a little bit about himself, tell you.
Hello, everyone. I would like to say thank you for having us here today. I am an alum of Mott Community College, and I'm proud to be a part of the women's golf team in the athletic department here at Mott Community College.
And next we'll have, so Cameron Johnson, I'll talk about her for just a few minutes. She is a returning sophomore. She qualified last year for the national championship individually for the women's. We were down in Melbourne, Florida. So that was a really good learning experience for her to get down there to see what that level is like. So then this year she qualified again, and as an individual, the girls' team fell just a little short. We ended up 4th out of 3 places that go, so we just missed out. But Cameron qualified individually. We were out in Boone, Iowa for a week in May, and you know, I don't even know where to begin with her. She's a really solid, really talented player, but she just got clicking on all cylinders that week. Had 4 rounds in the 70s, and ended up tied for first place as for a national champ, to be an individual national champion, since she lost in a sudden death playoff. So she was a national champion runner-up. Cameron Johnson, come on up.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, so it's been, since I started in 2019, Al has wanted girls golf. I've had experience coaching girls golf in high school, and Tim, we're going to start girls. And Christmas break, I don't know, 22, I think, 23, he says, I got a girl, we're starting girls golf. Okay, here we go. And now we got Cameron on board, and have Mallory Babos, as she played the last 2 years with us, is here in attendance. And Riley Wakefield she was a freshman last year, she'll be a sophomore returning next year. I started with 1 girl, then Mallory joined, we had 2 girls, then we got Cameron, and then things are starting to grow. We're still trying to get the word out there that the community knows, that all these girls in the community know that we have the girls golf team. So, but I had 5 girls last year, I have 6 girls starting this fall, so it's coming around. It's getting out there, but yeah, it's been really a fabulous opportunity to give these girls another chance to continue their golfing careers here at Mott. So, thank you.
Thank you, Coach. And congratulations to the team.
Just want me to keep going with the boys now? All right. So now we'll go into the boys. I'll introduce Nick Brown. Nick Brown's my boys' assistant coach. So I had the opportunity to coach Nick in high school at Flushing. Him and my son played together, and then they both joined here at Mott. The coach stepped down. I applied and then was their coach here. Coached my son and Nick, both actually, then the national championship. They qualified individually their last years together. As soon as Nick was done, I needed an assistant, and he was eager to get started. He jumped right on board with me and has been just a huge asset for everything that we're doing with this golf program. As Al had said, we won the Eastern Conference championship the last 4 years in a row, and we've won it 5 out of my 6. And so, and Nick's been a huge, huge part of that. He is my right-hand man. He takes care of so many other logistical things for me, handling the team, just whatever I need. It's really great to watch him transition from a player to kind of help now guide him as a coach, that he's going to be ready to run his own team anytime he wants the opportunity, he's ready to do it. So Nick has just been a huge asset for this team and a big reason of why we've had the continued success that we have. So I do have some of the boys here with me, Logan Holbrook and Dylan Holbrook, the twins, as you can tell. Logan Holbrook and David Krizwada. The twins are returners. They'll be back in the fall. And David just spent 2 years with me. So some of the other boys are out of town, up, heading north as a lot of people are. But these guys here have been just workhorses. David's always a little bit of our comic relief. He likes to lighten the mood. These guys are just grinders on the golf course. And, for the team to go this year, we had the worst weather week I've ever coached in Indiana when we were down there the last week right before Memorial Day. It was, I think the opening morning, it was 35 degrees with a steady downpour and a 25-mile-an-hour wind when we started the tournament. So got off to a rough start, but they righted the ship. They put some good scores up the last couple days and just had a great overall experience. So, yeah. So, again, we'd just like to really thank everybody here at the board for your continued support, and we're going to keep pushing hard to bring back those championships and go to the national championship. So, thank you.
Excellent. Well done. Thank you.
We actually have one more team that we'd like to share their accomplishments from this year. I'm going to ask Terry Warner, our head softball coach, to come up. He's just finished his third season, going into his fourth. He's a 3-time Eastern Conference Coach of the Year, so he's batting 1,000 at winning that award so far. And he's not as loquacious as Coach Nestor, so this should be quick.
I don't even know what that word means. So, I would like to thank the board for all your support, and thank you for inviting us. I do want to thank Al. He is the one that hired me originally, and of course Roger and then everyone in the athletic department for all their support. We wouldn't have the success that we're having without them. So really quick, we had a fantastic season. Actually, we've had 3 fantastic seasons in a row, and we set a few goals. The goals are to win our conference every year, to win the regional every year, and go to the nationals, and we were able to reach those goals. We had 4 girls that were all region. We had, I think it was 5 girls that made all conference, first team, and then I think we had another 2 girls that made second team all conference. We were 40-11 overall. We were 27-3 in the conference, and we just had an exceptional year. We try really hard. The girls sacrifice a lot, but we make it a point to try to enjoy ourselves as we go along. It's a long year. We have to spend a lot of time together, so we do try to have as much fun as possible. So I'm not going to have anybody talk. The girls were really worried that they were going to have to speak, so I'm not going to do that to them. But I am going to have them come up and stand behind me. So clearly a softball team has a few more girls on it. Not everyone could be here today, but they do represent our everyone that was part of our softball program. And I'm just going to, really quick, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves. All you have to do is say your name. It's super simple. Okay? Can you do that? Yeah. All right, go ahead.
I'm Emma Benner. Chloe Williams.
Lexi Hemker. Heaven Halkowski.
Sophia Cox.
Yeah, so they're great girls, and they work really, really hard, and they deserve all of the credit. It's been a joy to be with them for the last couple of years, and of course, Lexi, she'll be back next year, so I'm looking forward to that also. We just want to say thank you, and we appreciate you letting us be here, and we can't wait to get back to nationals because it was an outstanding experience. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Coach. We're very proud of you. Thank you. Thank you, Al. And next, I would like to ask Robert Matthews, Assistant, or excuse me, not Assistant, Vice President of Student Academic and Workforce Success, and also Dr. Comendoros from Adrian College. And Robert will introduce another event that we are very proud of, which is the signing of the Adrian College Articulation Agreement.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Madam President, and trustees. Excited to give you an update and to share some developments here. Adrian College and Mott Community College have entered into a strategic partnership that includes a master articulation agreement. The really great thing about this is it allows our students a seamless path in 2+2 programs from Mott to Adrian. I believe we have, do we have the slide that has, yes, that has all of the programs. So there are 6 programs. And so often you hear about these and there's just one program that we're developing pathways in, but there's a lot of work that's been done to develop pathways in these 6 areas. And so it will definitely support the completion of bachelor's degrees in some high demand areas. And the really important thing is there is a reduction in any duplication of coursework between Mott Community College and Adrian College. And just as an added bonus, if that wasn't enough, for those students in those business pathways, they have figured out ways to give those students up to 72 credits in those pathways. And so we're really excited about this opportunity for our students, and I'm going to pass the mic to our colleague from Adrian, Dr. Comendoros.
Thank you, Vice President Matthews. Thank you to President Richardson Snell and the Board of Trustees for inviting us to be part of announcing and celebrating this articulation agreement. We're very excited about it. I'm going to say I've been to Mott 3 times, and this is my 3rd. I've been impressed every time I've been here. Last time, you know, the tour, all the facilities, all the programs. I think you're doing great work. We're very excited to be partnering with you in this way. We all know the challenges in higher ed are tremendous. I was just reading a poll the other day that said only 36 of Americans have confidence in higher ed. Enrollment issues, student debt concerns, and so on. So our work is really difficult. Students have demands for paying careers and so on. So, but our work is difficult and very rewarding. And then colleges need to respond and work very quickly to be innovative, collaborate. It's about removing barriers and building bridges. I was recently in, I don't know if any of you have ever been to Rochester, Minnesota. Somebody invited me to go. So I was walking downtown and I see all these skywalks everywhere, connecting all these buildings. And I asked somebody, I was suspicious I had to do something with the cold. And they told me, you know, it gets 40 below in the winter, nobody wants to walk outside. So they just connect all these buildings with this, remove a barrier, right? So you don't have to go outside. So I was thinking of our partnership. I thought, oh, this is what we're doing with Mott. We're removing barriers, allowing students to pursue a bachelor's degree very easily in these areas, and empowering them to pursue their academic goals and be successful. So again, we're grateful for inviting us. We're really excited for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
along. Communications. Jordan, do we have any communications?
Yes, Mr. Chair, the communications have been included in your agenda packet.
All right, thank you. Next is comments from the public. Public comment is welcome in accordance with the Open Meetings Act and Board Policy 1640. It is the best practice for the board to enforce all the board policies, including Board Policy 1640. Just to summarize 1640, speakers must identify themselves and any group they may represent. They must identify the subject matter of the remarks, and they are limited to 5 minutes each. Speech that is inappropriate or defamatory will be deemed to be disruptive, and the speaker can be removed from the meeting if the disruptive comment continues. Please bear this in mind when you come up to speak. Jordan?
The first comment has been submitted by Bobby Walton of Davison on the topic of board attorney. And I apologize, I can't read the rest, so I apologize, Bobby.
Good evening, Bobby Walton here. I came this evening to speak about a couple of things, and as I watched the honoring of your athletes and all of the things they've done in this season, I was thinking about how we really are proud of them because they play the game fairly, they win when they win, they lose when they lose, and they don't cheat. I came prepared to talk about a couple of things that I think we need to remember, never forget, until those things have been corrected. The current situation here at Mott College actually started a couple of years ago, and of course I've reminded you of this many times. We are a government institution that has government rules, regulations, and laws that guide us. We have our policies and procedures, which you have been following and amending and studying. One of those has impacted on how you chose to pursue the filling of the presidential slot at this college. And tonight, we are faced with a new board attorney. And I have looked at the past two board attorneys and comments they made about that prospect. On June 12th, MLive reported that Sean Fitzgerald said of his resignation as board attorney, quote, "I believe the board attorney position is redundant and duplicative." He continued, "I share the same concerns that Mr. Brickley articulated in his legal memorandum that caused him to withdraw from the position." So we return to what Mr. Brickley said. "As I begin this memorandum, I want to impress that I take no role in who the board hires as the president of Mott Community College. My only role is to make sure I properly advise the board as the legal requirements for the hiring process. And I will emphasize as the legal requirements for the hiring process. The content of this memoranda relates solely to the legality of the process of hiring. The issue was the decision on November 25th, 2024 to hire Shonda Richardson Snell as the president of Mott Community College for a period of 3 years legal? His answer is no. And then he goes into a pretty thorough detail citing sources and court cases and laws and facts that support his decision. And at the end of that, he said that he would be resigning as the position of your board attorney. When I go back to the policies and the procedures that you have adopted as a board, And then I look at what you have done and are doing currently in your relationship between the board attorney, the administration attorney, and the very legal basis for any advice that you would be receiving. I commented to you in the policy committee that the one thing that's really important to this board is the flow of information. And when you purposely truncate or cut off information coming from the public, coming from your attorney, coming from the laws and the procedures that you have vowed to follow, when you cut off that information, you are going to be making decisions that are perhaps harmful to the college, could be harmful to your personal reputation. It could be harmful to you if you have any ambition to run for higher office. So I guess I will continue coming before you. I will continue reminding you of your responsibilities. I will continue to tell you what I observe. But I will go back to emphasizing this is not personal. I have nothing personal against anyone who sits at this table or even is in this room. I do have an opinion about how we proceed legally, how we proceed in delivering government services to the public that you serve, the public that I am part of, and the public that I have served in the past. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Bobby. Jordan, are there any others?
The next comment has been submitted by Paula Weston of Flushing on the topic of perceptions.
My summer shoes are going flippy-floppy. Hello, everyone. My name is Paula Weston. I think pretty much everybody at this table knows me. I am not originally from here, but I live in Flushing, and I teach here at Mott Community College. I teach English, and in fact, I think one of my former students was here just getting honored, which was really kind of fun. I had some golfers, and I had some softball players. I had a bunch of student athletes this semester, or winter semester, I should say, which was super fun. I'm so proud of them. So there are a couple of things I want to talk about. One is, and even though I've got this in front of me, I promise you this is going to be really long. One is that, here we are, this meeting began at 3:30 on a Friday afternoon the week before the 4th of July week, and I don't know why, right? And I think I'm the only faculty member here to speak, and I'm not speaking on behalf of the faculty. I want to make that quite clear. I am an employee at Mott, and that's something that comes into play here. And I am also, full disclosure, I am the division rep for Fine Arts and Humanities for the MCCEA. For those of you who don't know who are here, that is the union that represents the faculty. So, but I'm not here as division rep. But I am here as an employee and as somebody who is devoted to Mott Community College. And I seeing a meeting scheduled for 3:30 on a Friday afternoon, the Friday before the 4th of July, is a little concerning, like especially when we all know in advance when the regular meetings are held. And so I think it discourages public comment to circle back to something that Bobby just said. And I think that that's really an unfortunate thing, because I think that every institution benefits from having diverse input from a lot of different people. So I know that many of us on the faculty, many people in the public have complained about when meetings are scheduled and have attributed some of it, I think, erroneously to a perception of trying to suppress public comment, although I think that at some points in the past that has been true. So that's one of the perceptions I want to address. Another thing I want to mention is that something that Wendy Walcott said at the end of the last meeting, the special meeting about the board attorney, which has really, really stuck with me. And Wendy was making an impassioned, I'm sorry, Trustee Walcott was making an impassioned plea for knowing who people are, right? That there are things out there in the world, and it's hurtful to hear what we think of as misconceptions about people. And that really has stuck with me. And, and Wendy and I have chit-chatted after a couple of meetings, and, I've gotten to know John Daly a little bit, and you know, I like Bobby, I don't have anything personal against anybody here in this room, right? And I know some people here in this room fairly well, actually, having been here a while. But I was thinking about the perception of faculty here too. And so like I want to reiterate that I'm not speaking on behalf of faculty, but it did get me to thinking. And of course, necessarily when we perceive we are attacked, when we perceive that we are miscast, it breaks down trust on every side, right? And we need to have trust for this institution to function. And it just got me thinking about what had transpired not even a year ago when members of the community had received mailers which said, and I need these because, you know, my eyes are old. They're as old as I am anyway. Mailers that categorized the faculty as, categorized Mott as having a woke diversity regime. And I find that kind of extraordinary, right? Mott, like any other institution, has, you know, espouses many viewpoints. There are lots of different viewpoints represented here at Mott. You know, it is not a monolith. And the idea that faculty would have power over students to get them to sort of follow a specific ideology, to me is just so, not only is that personally offensive, because that's not what faculty are about at all, right? But it's also, it grants us a power that we simply don't have. And I know we joke about this a lot, but I just finished up a 6-week semester, which was really hard on my students. 6 weeks is really rough to take an English 101 class. I mean, there were messages, and I felt bad. If I could have bought each of them ice cream, I would have. It was rough, man. And annotated bibliography, those poor kids, it was rough, right? I would pay real money to have students read my directions for instructions, right, for assignments. I mean it. That is my ideology right there. Please read the instructions. Please meet with me so we can discuss the instructions. Let me help you. Here's MLA format, and let me explain its importance to you. That is, you know, that's pretty much the altar upon which I worship at Mott specifically, right? I'm not alone at that. So there's a perception out there, and there are other things that were said, like when Reverend Toma called us, I think, I had to look this one up last fall. I was just so shocked by this, right? The overwhelmingly progressive faculty, woke student groups, and liberal community members, right? And I'm like, well, how does he know this? How does anybody know this about anybody? Unless there is actual transparent communication about such things, right? So I guess that's the thing that you got me thinking about, Wendy, was like how we discuss each other publicly, privately, how we're looking at each other, you know, and it's been less than a year since Mott faculty was painted by 2 different people as being, I don't know, somehow antithetical to what apparently this board thinks is Mott's mission. And nothing could be further from the truth, right? I mean, we're just all here to do the same thing, is to make sure that everybody gets a good education to serve this diverse community, and to make sure that stakeholders, that all stakeholders in Mott's footprint, right, are served, so that people can achieve what they want to achieve, have better lives, be better citizens, participate, pay their taxes, send their kids to Mott so that they can golf, right, and win softball things, right? I mean, so that's pretty much, I'm not very good at speaking off the cuff, and I only had a couple of notes here, so I'm going to end this really poorly, I know, but that's one of the things that I wanted to get out there into the record, right, is that the faculty is just not the enemy of Mott Community College. Thank you.
Thank you. Jordan, are there any other?
That would conclude public comment.
Thank you, Jordan. Okay, moving right along to the consent agenda. Now, before I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, Jordan had pointed out, and I will point those out again, there are 2 typos on the agenda. On 144 and 145, they have the year 2024. Should be 2025. The reports themselves are accurate. It's just the date was wrong. So I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Support.
All right, I have a motion that's been seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
The motion to approve the consent agenda. Trustee Reyes?
Aye.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Walcott?
Yes.
Chair Swanson?
Yes.
Votes 4 ayes. Motion passes.
Okay, item 8. The approval of the minutes from April 28th and May 12th of the closed session. I believe board members have, though they're being handed out now. I was gonna, yeah, we've. Okay. All right, board members have them. I would entertain a motion to approve the board minutes of the special sessions, of the closed sessions, rather.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, have a motion that's been seconded. Discussion? Seeing none, we will vote. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Walcott?
Yes.
Trustee Reyes?
Aye.
Chair Swanson?
Yes.
4 ayes. Motion passes. And just return those to Jordan or myself. Thank you.
Okay, informational reports. Board Policy Committee? Wendy?
Point of information.
Yes.
We just did April 28th. We didn't do May 12th.
Oh, I thought we did both of them at the same time.
Oh, I
No, I believe we just did the one.
thought it was just the one.
Okay, well, we
But-
can, yeah, we can do May 12th, you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Yes. No, it's
So I'll take a,
just 1 second, please. Okay. Correct. Correct. Okay, motion to approve the minutes of May 12th has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's do a roll call vote.
roll call vote on the approval of closed session minutes for May 12, 2025. Trustee Walcott?
Yes.
Trustee Reyes?
Aye.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Chair Swanson?
Yes.
That also has 4 ayes. Passes.
Okay, all right, we're back to the Board Policy Committee.
Yep,
Wendy?
we met on June 11th, and then we are, in our committee, we're working on 4 policies. Today, we're going to bring forth the second reading for policy 1631, which is order of business. And there also will be 3 more policies today that will be coming before the board. And then our next meeting will be July 9th at 3 p.m.
Thank you, Wendy. Okay, unfinished business. We have the amendment to Board Policy 1631, Order of Business. It's a second reading and to be voted on. So,
Your choice, Jordan or myself? I don't, if they have it in front of them, you don't have to necessarily read it. but it's a choice.
So just to give you guys a quick refresher on it, there was no changes from the first reading at the previous meeting where you guys had it on the agenda. As you can see, the highlighted red, or the addition of regular meeting, and then subsection 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 is just a rearranging essentially with the strike through of board generated ideas in closed session. So if approved, then board generated ideas in closed session would be removed from the order of business for a total of 14 items.
Thank you, Jordan. Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the board policy 1631, the amendment to it.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion and it's been seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, we will vote. Roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote on the 1.33, which is amendment to Board Policy 1631, order of business. Trustee Walcott?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Reyes?
Aye.
Chair Swanson?
Yes.
4 ayes. The motion passes.
Okay, under new business, the Open Meetings Act permits the board to discuss certain matters related to collective bargaining agreement in closed session, which I suggest that we do in connection with the impending collective bargaining agreements with 2 of the college's bargaining units. I would entertain a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion that's been seconded to go into closed session to discuss the collective bargaining agreement. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Reyes?
Aye.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Walcott?
Yes.
Chair Swanson?
Yes.
4 ayes. That's sufficient to go into closed session.
All right, we will go into closed session and we'll be back when we're done. Okay, we're back from closed session, back into open session. We have 1.48, the approval of the Public Safety Officers Collective Bargaining Agreement. I would entertain a motion to approve that.
Make the motion.
Second.
Have a motion that's been seconded. Any discussion? Yes, Art.
I'm glad to see that we have tentative agreements with the bargaining units, the way that we have. I mean, negotiations can go a multitude of ways, but to see that we've come to something that I'm in favor of, and that the membership of these bargaining units have voted to approve is good.
Any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Miller on the approval of the Public Safety Officers Collective Bargaining Agreement?
Yes.
Trustee Reyes?
Aye.
Trustee Walcott?
Yes.
Chair Swanson?
Yes.
4 ayes, the motion passes.
Okay. Moving to item 1.49, the approval of the Administrative Support Collective Bargaining Agreement.
So
I would
moved.
Thank you.
So she wanted to make that motion. Support.
I have a motion that's been supported. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
On the motion to approve the Administrative Support Collective Bargaining
Aye.
Agreement?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
Trustee
Candace,
Reyes?
that wasn't. Aye.
He wanted to go first. Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Walcott?
Yes.
Chair Swanson?
Yes.
There are 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Okay. Public hearing on proposed 25-26 operating budget. Shonda, would you like to take this, please?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to invite Chief Financial Officer Larry Gothrop to the table, and also I would like to open the floor for any public comment related to the 2025-2026 proposed budget. Larry? Okay, in the absence of any public comment, Larry, could you go ahead and proceed with the review of the 24-25 final budget proposal as well as the 25-26 initial budget proposal? Thank you.
Yes, I'd be glad to. Thank you, Madam President, Mr. Chair, Board. Yeah, next slide there. Each June, the college is required through the State Uniform Budgeting Act and Board Policy 3100 to bring forth a final current year operating budget and a balanced original budget for the upcoming year. Next slide. As a reminder, I also wanted to review with you the process, number of college staff involved, and time spent on preparing the original budget. The process begins in March with the release of the individual budgets, with March, April being the time for cost center manager meetings, followed by the compilation of the changes and revisions by accounting and shared with the president and EC prior to recommendation to the board in June. Next slide. This year, as there have been several changes in our cost center managers over the past few years, instead of having group Zoom cost center budget meetings, Nicole and I, Nicole the director of budget, and I met individually in person with each of the cost center managers to offer assistance in the budget process, offer guidance on discrepancies, and answer questions. We conducted these meetings from March 13th through May 5th. Also this year, we, at the request of Shonda, asked each cost center manager to provide us with a list of wish list type of minor one-time remodel projects, equipment, and other non-personnel type funding requests. This helps us to ensure that our budget is comprehensive, incorporating the non-major facilities items. These will then be incorporated into the facilities workbook being compiled by facilities. Next slide, please. So tonight, or this afternoon, I guess it is, or it's almost night now, there will be 3 budget items presented and recommended for proposal, or approval, excuse me, They are the final 24-25 budget, the college millage authorizations, both operating and debt, and the original 25-26 budget. Next slide, please. The final budget for the current year is based on actuals through May and estimates based on historical trends and any other known facts and circumstances, and is presented here. In the revenue area, the most significant change from the February amended budget is in tuition and fees, and it's increased due to continued increases in our enrollment. Other state aid, which is a one-time MIPSers refund related, and a reduction of $2.75 million in the transfer in from future funding due to the net overall better than budgeted projections overall. Next slide, please. As for the expenditures, the most significant changes from the February amended budget are in the areas of salaries and fringes, mainly due to the reoccurring condition of filling less positions than originally budgeted. A net reduction across all divisions of approximately $556,000 in contracted services, a reduction of $318,000 in utilities, $323,000 increase in licenses offset by a reduction in the contingency, a $128,000 reduction in transfers, and a $178,000 increase in equipment improvements, which is related to Lapeer projects. Next slide, please. Finally, the 24-25 budget of the college is reserves or savings, which has two components: those required by board policy and savings from past budgets that are unallocated, including the sale of the Livingston property. Next slide, please. So now we can move on to the 25-26 initial budget, or original budget. In addition to the State of Michigan Uniform Budgeting and Accounting Act of 1978, there are 4 board policies governing our original budgeting process. There are 3100 on budget adoption, 3920 and 3930 on financial stability and reserves, and 5100 on total employee compensation. Also, the need to maintain flexibility, conservatism, and having a balanced approach is followed. Next slide, please. The college relies on 3 primary sources of funding: tuition, which includes Pell Grants, direct loans, state grants, scholarships, and cash-paying students, local property taxes, and state aid. The other is a combination of auxiliary revenues, investment earnings, foundation for MCC contribution, and fees for services in our business and health science areas. This also includes our transfer from future funding from our past HERF, which was the stimulus payments that we received back during the pandemic. Those savings we retain to use each year until our enrollment rises back to pre-pandemic levels. As you can see, we are much more reliant on enrollment than we were 25 years ago. Next slide, please. The college's second largest source of operational funding comes from local property taxes, which are levied through a millage to all non-exempted property owners within the GISD boundaries. We receive both an operational millage as well as a debt service millage. The operational millage has 2 components, which a charter perpetual of 1.3028 and a voted operating of 0.6191 for a total of 1.9219 mils. These rates are both rolled back due to the Headley Amendment from the original 1.4 and 0.641 mils. Next slide, please. Local property tax funding and state of Michigan appropriations are used to support college operations, which combined is currently at 50% of our available operating revenues, compared to a high of 63% back in 2000, and most recently a low of 44% in 2014. The college relies significantly on these 2 funding sources to subsidize the tuition. Next slide, please. The Board of Trustees has authorized the college to have 466 full-time positions at the discretion of the president. The college currently has 421.85 planned for the current year, leaving 44.15 available. Next slide, please. In addition to the board limitation on the number of full-time positions authorized by the board, Board Policy 5100 also limits the total compensation percentage to 77% of our operating budget. Since there are many instances where there are temporary and/or contracted workers used for part-time, ongoing, or fill-in types of work, they are included in the total when calculating this percentage. For the 25-26 budget, the W-2, if you will, the W-2 regular employees total 69%, and the temporary contracted total 5 for a total of 74, which is below the board policy of 77%. Next slide, please. The 25-26 revenue budget is presented here with changes from the 24-25 final budget. The highlights are in the tuition and fees increase from projected increases in enrollment and tuition rate increases that the board approved back in March. Inflationary property tax increase assumption, a reduction in other state aid to account for the loss of the one-time MIPSers payment that we received in this fiscal year, and a $2.75 million increase in transfer from future funding, which has been done the past several years from the HERF savings to balance the budget each year. Next slide, please. The 25-26 expenditure budget highlights compared to the 24-25 final budget include $2.8 million increase in salaries and wages as a result of the 3% across-the-board salary increases and restoration of the open position pool. A $1 million increase in fringe benefits for the same reasons. There's also a $1.2 million increase in licensing, restoration of the contingency, with a net reduction across all divisions in smaller amounts, and a $742,000 increase in transfers, resulting mainly from funding minor capital improvements that I discussed previously, and then also the vehicle pool. The equipment improvements line item is being reduced to reflect the completion of the one-time capital improvements in the 24-25 budget year in Lapeer. Next slide, please. Another comparative way to look at the budgets are from the original to the original, so the original 24-25 to the original 25-26. This level sets assumptions made from year to year, removing the corrections made mid-year and the amended budget. On the revenue side, the changes with explanations are presented. Some highlights are tuition and fees increase from increased enrollment and tuition rate increases, inflationary property tax increase assumption, and a $1 million less transfer from our future funding than we did in the previous year. Next slide, please. The original budget to original budget expenditure highlights are increase in salaries and fringes due to across-the-board salary increases, a miscalculation of FICA in the 24-25 budget that I shared with you in February, which artificially lowered the 24-25 fringe benefit line. Projected operational increases due to increases in enrollment, a $462,000 rent savings from acquiring the culinary property, a $247,000 reduction in utilities due to correction of the overestimation in the 24-25 year, increases in license and travel, increased back to pre-pandemic levels. Transfers include allocations for minor remodeling projects mentioned previously at the request of the cost center managers, and vehicle pool funding, as well as additional work in Lapeer and equipment and improvement line. Next slide, please. So here is a condensed version of the 25-26 budget with comparisons from the final 24-25 budget and the 24-25 original budget. We are budgeting a $185,000 increase in fund balance and estimating a 16.1% fund balance percentage, which is within the board target of 10 to 20%. Next slide, please. The board policy reserve balances are projected to be $23.3 million. Next slide, please. And the board designated reserves are projected to be $14.4 million. Next slide, please. Finally, the designated and auxiliary funds have a $2.7 million and a $570,000 revenue budgets. And again, these are our smaller funds that are listed up there, the types of activities that are not a part of normal college operations. Next slide, please. The debt retirement fund is collecting 0.6 mils to meet the current fiscal year principal and interest obligations. And the capital funds are highlighted by a student technology fee estimate of $1.5 million designated for student technology needs, and a $1.2 million planned transfer that includes a Perkins badge, copiers, and minor capital improvements and remodeling in vehicles. That ends my budget presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Larry. Okay. Now, is that it for the budget stuff? Mm-hmm, yeah. Okay, we'll move back to 1.46, the approval of the tax millage rates for 2025-26.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion been seconded? Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote for approval of the tax millage rates for 2025 and 2026. Trustee Reyes.
Aye.
Trustee Walcott.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Chair Swanson.
Yes.
There are 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Okay, moving along to 1.50, approval of the 2024 to 25 final budget proposal. Would entertain a motion for that, correct?
So moved.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion to approve, and it's seconded. Any discussion? Yes, Art?
Yeah, there was a lot of information that was presented in the presentation, and thank you, Larry, for doing an outstanding job in explaining everything. But a lot of times, if somebody is sitting in the audience, they may not realize that this is not the first time that we're seeing this information. We've been given presentations, we've had committee meetings, and we have plenty of opportunities to ask questions and to discuss. So I just, it just occurs to me sometimes, when you're sitting in the audience and you see, well, there's no discussion whatsoever, I'm not asking a question on a budget of this size and intricacy. It's like, it's easy to be misperceived. And I wanted to just kind of make sure that people realize this is not the first time that we're seeing this, and we've asked questions, so.
That's a good point, Art.
Yeah,
It's true. So one thing that we do, it's called a topical session, so we go over the full agenda in detail, so we know exactly what's happening and any questions that we have coming up leading to this.
I would just add to that, the topical sessions are restricted to 3 members of the board at a time, and then available for viewing in a recorded form.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Art, that was well pointed out. Thank you. Okay, I have a motion that's been seconded. Any more discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
On item 1.50, approval of 2024-2025 final budget proposal. Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Wolcott?
Yes.
Trustee Reyes?
Aye.
Chair Swanson?
Yes.
4 ayes, the motion passes.
Item 1.51, 2025 to 26 initial budgets for adoption.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Have a motion to adopt, seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Reyes?
Aye.
Trustee Wolcott?
Yes.
Chair Swanson?
Yes.
There are 4 ayes, motion passes.
Okay, 1.52, Ballinger Fieldhouse Roof Purchase Award. Shonda, would you like to have somebody talk on that, please?
I would. CFO Larry Gothrop, could you please return to the podium? And Larry will review 1.52, 1.53, and 1.54. But
No, it's Rod.
and Rod Whitney.
Come on up, Rod.
Thank you, Rod.
Rod's going to go over it. I'm just going to be the comic relief.
Thank you, Board, Chair, President Snell. So the first one is Ballinger Fieldhouse roof replacement, and I'd like to circle back first for the Mott Library here. We replaced the roof on this. Our anticipated cost was going to be around $1.5 million for this, and it came in around 1.1. So we're trying to take advantage of the extra revenue that was left over and hit 2 other spots here on campus. Ballinger Fieldhouse happens to be our next one with the most need. So as part of the continued roofing upgrades for Mott Community College, the college went out for bids for 2 sections on Ballinger Fieldhouse. The areas being replaced are over the entry, office spaces, and locker rooms. 4 bids were received. Royal Roofing Company came in with the lowest bid. Our owner's rep Trimco is recommending them, as well as facilities, that they would receive this bid. It is also a 30-year warranty, the same thing that we put on the library roof as well. If there's any questions on that.
Who did the library roof?
Lutz Roofing.
Any other questions? Okay. All right. So 1.52, the Ballinger Fieldhouse Roof Purchase Award. I would entertain a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Support.
I have a motion to approve, and it's been seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, a roll call vote, please.
On item 1.52, the Ballinger Fieldhouse Roof Purchase Award, Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Reyes?
Aye.
Trustee Walcott?
Yes.
Chair Swanson?
Yes.
4 ayes and ayes. The motion is passed.
Excuse me, sorry. All right, 1.53, Catastrophic Cleaning Services Purchase Award.
That's correct. So Mott Community College went out for bids for a catastrophic cleaning company. As the current contract expires on Monday, the contract is for emergency catastrophic cleaning and restoration services, which we currently use as Bid Pro, or Serve Pro. This includes cleaning and restoration due to damage caused by water, fire, vandalism, mold, debris removal, biohazards. The nature of this work is not routine and is only needed when emergency situations arise. We received 8 bids for this, RACM Serve Pro Miller being the lowest bidder. And then we also have a backup or secondary contract as well that we're recommending, which would be Serve Pro from Northwest Genesee. Any questions?
Are there any questions? Don't think so. So 1.53, Catastrophic Cleaning Services Purchase Award. I would entertain a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion to approve and a second. Discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
On item 1.53, Catastrophic Cleaning Services Purchase Award, Trustee Reyes?
Aye.
Trustee Walcott?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Chair Swanson?
Yes.
4 ayes, and the motion passes.
1.54, Print Shop Equipment Purchase Award.
Yeah. Mott Community College leases its print shop copiers, which consist of high-speed black and white copiers and medium-speed black and white copiers and color copiers, along with the controller equipment. The 5-year contract expires again on Monday. We went out for bids. 7 qualified bidders were received. Only 4 met the minimum specs requirements outlined in the RFP. Conica Minolta was the lowest qualified bidder, and we are recommending them. Any questions?
Yes, Art.
A couple. Included in that 234, 738, does that include service calls during the term of the lease?
Yes, it does.
Okay, and what are we finding the typical lifespan of the various copiers are?
It tends to be about 5 years, tends to be the lifespan of where we need replacement.
Just, yeah, Rod didn't mention this, but just as a, for reference, the last contract that we did 5 years ago was $262,789. So actually, this went down this year, which is very nice to see.
Any other questions?
I'll just add, it went down, but the level of service is the same. We maintain the same scope of service.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to accept the purchase award.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion to approve. It's been seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
On item 1.54, Print Shop Equipment Purchase Award, Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Reyes?
Aye.
Trustee Walcott?
Yes.
Chair Swanson?
Yes.
There are 4 ayes, and the motion passes.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Rod. Well, I'm glad you got to chime in there, Larry. 1.55, Campus Logic by Lucian Purchase Award. Did I say Lucian right?
All right, Ross. There you are. Ross Domke, Director of Enterprise Architecture.
Good evening, Board. I'm here to present the purchase award for, it's called Campus Communicator and Student Forums by Ellucian. These are 2 critical financial aid technology solutions now owned by Ellucian. When we first acquired these 5 years ago, they were owned by a company called Campus Logic. They're still very widely used today, primarily for our financial aid processing. It helps with working through ICERs and student financial aid, getting those processing both from the government and then through the student, getting corrections back and back into the system faster. We're recommending, they did provide both a 5 and a 3-year term. The 5-year term came with a 5% annual increase, and the 3-year term had a 6% annual increase. We're recommending the 3-year term so that it will better align with all of our other existing Ellucian contracts. So instead of, right now it's a year behind, they're kind of off center. The goal is that after this 3-year term, we'll likely look for a 1-year extension, and then that will align them up with our existing 5-year Ellucian contract. We are dropping an additional product by them called Virtual Advisor. We did have 3 products, so that actually reduces the cost for us. Any questions?
Seeing no questions, I would entertain a motion to approve the purchase award for the Campus Logic.
So moved.
Support.
If a motion has been supported, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Chair?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Is this for the 3-year contract?
I believe it's for the 3-year.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Okay, roll call vote.
On item 1.55, the purchase award to Campus Logic by Ellucian. Trustee Walcott?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Reyes?
Aye.
And Chair Swanson.
Yes.
4 ayes, the motion passes.
Okay, item 1.56, Code Blue Emergency Phones, the purchase award.
Yep, so I have this one as well. This is to replace our emergency phone systems on the main campus and in our remote locations, including Lapeer, Southern Lakes, in the Workforce Economic Development area over at Wagner. These are the phones you see located not only in the poles outside, but also in the hallways throughout the campus. This update is going to bring our phones into compliance with our new Zoom phone system. A public bid was released, and we decided on going with Code Blue, which is a Michigan-based company in Holland, Michigan, and then we're going to use Newkirk Electric for the install.
Any questions? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the purchase award.
Make the motion.
Second.
Support.
Have a motion's been seconded twice. Roll call, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
On item 1.56, purchase award to Code Blue emergency phones. Trustee Reyes.
Could you repeat the motion again, because I think you misstated?
It's I did slightly, that is correct. You've got good ears. It is 1.56 is the Code Blue Emergency Phones Purchase Award.
Okay, all right. Aye.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Wolcott?
Yes.
Chair Swanson?
Yes.
4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you.
Item 1.57, did you want to
Thank
take
you,
that,
Ross.
Donna?
Yes. Next, Vice President Matthews will present the purchase award for the Stratasys printer system and also review the MI Tech memo of understanding.
Good evening again. I have the pleasure of presenting a request to the board for the approval of the purchase of the Stratasys J55 printer system. I've shared with a few that every time I say that, I feel like I'm in a sci-fi movie, but this is really high-tech equipment. It is an advanced 3D printer system that really increases the college's capacity to deliver cutting-edge and full-color and texture-realistic additive manufacturing experiences. And I want to highlight the critical importance of additive manufacturing. So we are used to, we put the nation on wheels, right? And so we understand the importance of manufacturing. And in many cases, manufacturing, and I'm going to use the example, the first thing that popped in my head was, let's say we're going to manufacture bird houses. So we design them, we figure out what materials we're going to use, and we're using wood. And as we get to production, the material, we start to cut the material to shape it. The cutting it is actually subtracting from the actual material. With additive manufacturing and new technologies, particularly like 3D printers, there's an additive process in which layer by layer you build something. So from the design to the actual product, you're layering things on. And so that's the notion of additive manufacturing. This printer will be used to help our CAD program initially to develop a new certificate of achievement in additive manufacturing. We have 2 faculty members who have already become certified, and we will also be able to award the nationally recognized credentials that are associated with the use of this proprietary product. So just to give you a couple of examples, in our healthcare areas, we will actually be able to print lifelike, realistic limbs with this system. In graphic design, we'll be able to do things using new materials and be able to print on things like textiles or even on porcelain tiles and things like that. And then more importantly, we also have an opportunity to present training to business and industry in the area that have yet to be introduced to this technology. And so we hope that you will support this opportunity for our students and the community and business and industry.
Herb?
This does have a direct relationship to manufacturing. We have at Flint Truck 3 Stratasys 3D printers. So, I mean, they're different models, but we're training people, you know, in-house and in the use of those as well as the maintenance of those, and so this is something that is very real world, and you know, it's applicable, you know, just a couple miles up the road.
So we'd like to partner with you on
I was just going to say, maybe you should send those employees over here.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Any opportunity that, you know, that we have, obviously I don't make that decision, but we have Stratasys 3D printers along the final line, so.
Very good.
Any other questions? Okay. 1.57, the Stratasys Printed System Purchase Award. would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion to approve with only 1 second this time. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's do a roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote on item 1.57, Stratus's Printer System Purchase Award. Trustee Reyes?
Aye.
Trustee Wolcott?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Chair Swanson.
Yes.
There are 4 ayes, and motion passes.
Okay, 1.58, approval of the MyTech Memo of Understanding.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. This item is a request that has come to us from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, asking for the college to join with a group of other partners to help position and strengthen Michigan's ability to become a national leader in the semiconductor space. It includes the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, the University of Michigan, Michigan State University, Wayne State University, Michigan Tech University, Kettering University, Mott Community College, and the Genesee Intermediate School District. As you can see, the entities here are across the state, and really the notion is to begin working on hubs that would help us to develop an ecosystem from K-12 through higher ed that will be able to spark innovation around an industry that we're hoping to attract to the state. We're hoping that well, let me back up. The key components here for us really are hands-on semiconductor technician training, and then also to look at the development of curriculum and providing space, of course, if we're able to start offering these programs in our area. Our role includes shared training and infrastructure, and a really critical piece for us is in many of these microelectronic processing and semiconductor fabs, many of the technician level jobs require less than an associate degree. And they are developing what they call quick start, fast track, you'll hear boot camps sometimes, training programs to help to get people into those opportunities. And so that is a space that we're definitely poised to be able to deliver curriculum and content in, and then those programs would lead up to associate degrees, and with other partners, bachelor's degrees and even advanced degrees could be offered. This is a very early planning phase for this project, and so there's no funding commitment from us at this time. It's really our participation in hoping to develop what ultimately we hope to become a system that would make us much more attractive. And so future funding and the implementation of a more long-term agreement could come later. Right now, this agreement would be effective through December 31 of 2027. And so what we're asking is for support for the college's participation with the other colleges to develop some of the things that we just discussed, and to support the president's signing of the MOU.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion to approve, and it's been seconded. Any discussion? Art?
Yeah. Question on this. Does this have anything to do with the development that they're doing in Mundy Township? I mean, is that kind of how we came into focus?
So fingers crossed, it would. If it's not there, we would still be the community college leader in this space.
I have a question. So this commits us to basically just saying that we would do the training. This gets us a seat at the table, correct?
That's a very good way to describe it. At the planning stage, and ideally, we'd want to be there during the planning. We don't want someone else to plan something and then tell us how to deliver it.
Okay. Thank you. Yes.
I would just add, pointing out that Mott is the only community college invited to participate in this consortium, and it will allow us to be able to also create those seamless pathways into the four-year engineering degree programs with the other universities as well. So it sets us up to provide the community college level training and credentials for either associate's degree or workforce programs, and also partner with these other universities so that those programs can seamlessly transition to a four-year degree, similar to what we discussed earlier tonight with Adrian.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Questions, discussion? Okay. We've had the motion and discussion. Roll call vote, please.
On item 1.58, approval of the MITEC Memo of Understanding. Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Reyes?
Aye.
Trustee Walcott?
Yes.
Chair Swanson.
Yes.
4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you. Okay, 1.59, appointment of the Michigan Community College Association Board of Directors representative. I would like to nominate Candace for that if she would accept it.
Yes, I'll accept it.
Alternate on the MCCA, and we would,
I believe so.
we would need a alternate also. Go ahead, Art.
John Daly's been the MCCA rep, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I guess I'm wondering why we wouldn't renominate him. So I guess in line with that, I would nominate John.
Well, he had informed me that he was stepping away from any leadership roles.
Ah.
That's why I didn't nominate him, because he had said he was stepping away.
Okay.
Okay. So we would need an alternate also. Yeah. Art?
I'd like to do that.
Absolutely. Okay. Is that something we need to vote on, or? Yeah.
Yes, but you can do it in probably one motion, one for the representative, and include in the same motion for the alternate.
Yes. Okay. I would entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
Support.
I have a motion. It's been seconded for the appointment of the representative for the MCCA and the backup of Candace and Artis as the backup. Any discussion? Seeing none, we can do this on just a voice vote, if that's okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. The appointment of the AACC, the American Association of Community Colleges, the representative. And we need a backup for this also?
No.
No? I would like to ask Kenyatta if she would be willing to, if that's okay. Okay? All right. So I need a motion to,
Make a motion that we have Kenyatta as the AACC rep.
Second.
Motion's been seconded. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, I just want to note that she does have the option to decline.
Absolutely, and I was going to, after we voted here, I was going to mention that I will ask her, and if she declines, then at the next meeting, we will address the situation.
Yeah, but we're basically just authorizing you through our vote to offer it to her.
To offer it to her, yes. Okay, where was I? We're voting. And it's, any discussion? And I think we just had it. So we'll do a voice vote on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, now the 1.61, appointment of the ACCT. That's the Association of Community College Trustees, the representative. Now, Art, you're on the board there, correct?
I'm currently on the board, yes.
And that runs through October, correct?
Yes.
Okay, but we need a representative
Yes,
also.
it's separate. I've been a member of the board of directors, but not the voting delegate from Mott Community College. It was typically the chair of the board. I mean, in the past, it's been the chair of the board, and then Michael Freeman was, until last year, Michael Freeman was the voting delegate, so he voted in the Senate.
Okay.
So,
All righty. Well, Wendy, would you like that? And we'll have to get an alternate also, yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, and the alternate? Art, you want to be, no, you can't be the alternate, can you? Or, because you're on the board there?
yes, I can be the
Oh,
alternate.
okay, all right. So the primary would be Wendy, and the alternate would be Art.
So move.
Second.
Okay, discussion, believe we've had that. Voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, 1.62, approval of the resolution of support for the legislative advocacy. Shonda?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've included a resolution in this month's new business in order to establish the board's interest in and support for legislative advocacy on behalf of the college and to continue to support the efforts that both we are undertaking internally as administration and other staff and faculty in order to preserve and protect some of the legislative actions and laws and rules that are in place now that are helpful. There have been some proposed changes to those, and so the purpose of this resolution is to reinforce the board's approval and support of our efforts internally, but also to make public the board's support, the board body itself, and its support of legislative actions and efforts that will be in the best interest of Mott Community College. And I believe we're going to read it. Would you like us to read it out loud for the board, or would you rather have discussion? I guess that's up to you. Would you
Either
like
way,
us to
but
read it? Read
I'd
it
like to have
first?
discussion at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to read it?
Sean, were you going to read that?
I think the resolution, that's coming at the end.
Okay. The result? Yeah. The resolution part?
All right, so the resolution states, whereas Mott Community College has been provided education, training, and workforce and economic development for the Flint and Genesee County and Mid-Michigan region for more than 100 years. Whereas thousands of MCC graduates have gone on to obtain gainful employment, pursue worthwhile and productive careers, and raise families on good wages and benefits. Whereas local, state, and federal resources play an important role in supporting and funding our students' ability to access MCC programs, graduate with credentials, and subsequently thrive in their workplace and communities. Whereas the longtime bipartisan commitment to supporting low to moderate income and first-generation post-secondary students, especially at our nation's community colleges, has added significantly to the American way of quality of life. Whereas students at MCC have utilized programs like the Michigan Achievement Scholarship and Community College Guarantee and Reconnect programs, the Federal Pell Grant Program, the Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant Program, Federal Work Study, and Career Technical Education opportunities as springboards to important training and education and living wage-paying jobs. Therefore, be it resolved that the Charles Stewart Mott Community College Board of Trustees advocates for all legislative efforts required for MCC to maintain the ability through local, state, and federal funding resources and programs to offer accessible, affordable, and high-quality educational opportunities to our students, thus enabling them to achieve personal, educational, and professional success and attain the American dream for themselves, their families, and the communities where they live and work.
And I just wanted to add very quickly a summary of some of the legislative actions that we've undertaken on the administration side. We did host the legislative breakfast and this is just a reminder, we've discussed with you in the past. We held the legislative breakfast and campus tour where we had a number of our area legislators attend, as well as attended Capitol Day in Lansing in April. We took a number of our students with us. It was a very well-attended day. We had a lot of staff and faculty with us as well. And then in early June, certain members of the executive cabinet, myself, took a day trip to Lansing, and I believe we held 6 or 7 individual meetings with different legislators in the Capitol to discuss our desire for these programs that are listed in the resolution to continue, and to underscore the importance of them in order for Mott Community College to be enabled to continue to provide these services and support as were just outlined in the resolution. So this resolution, again, is to solidify the board's support of, and we also have a template letter that we will be emailing to each one of the trustees along with a list of all of our legislators, and just would ask for your support in sending those letters to our legislators to again, reiterate the importance of maintaining these programs as they are, and in fact, growing them. But we'll be sending that email to you, so I did want to mention that as well.
Art, yes, questions?
Yeah. In the final whereas, we don't have SNAP listed, and I realize that it's not predominantly an education, but it so affects our lower income students, our single parents, that the cuts to SNAP as presented would cause great harm to a significant number of our students. So I think that something like that needs to be included in there as well, and advocating for all legislative efforts required for MCC to maintain the ability. Advocating for is fine, but there are occasions, again, I bring up SNAP or the cuts to federal Pell Grant program, the restructuring as it's been laid out in the omnibus bill. We also advocate against. I mean, advocating for our students means that we are advocating at times, speaking out against cuts as presented or the budget, budgetary priorities that we feel detrimentally impact our students. And I just want to make sure that that spirit is outlined in this. And I wonder, because I know we have a lobby firm, is this tied in any way to our hiring of a lobby firm or anything of that nature? Is this tied in any way to any money that we would be spending on lobbying?
Great questions. No, it isn't tied to the lobbyist engagement in any way, although they did make a suggestion that we request that our board also, in addition to, I think I've sent, I don't know, upwards of 40 or 50 letters over the course of the last few months in order to reiterate our position in terms of maintaining these programs and asking for more support. And they had suggested that we also ask the board to send letters to continue to ask for support. So I'll also just point out, the language indicates that the board advocates for all efforts required to maintain the ability. So it's actually advocates for maintaining the ability through local, state, federal funding sources and programs to offer accessible, affordable. So you're right, some of these legislative actions, we might be for them, we might be against them. So what this is saying is that we're advocating for those that will allow us or that are required for us to maintain the ability to continue to do what we do, if that is helpful.
Yeah, I understand the verbiage that's there, but I see us advocating for our students. That's who we're advocating for. I mean, that will come in supporting some legislative efforts, that will come in opposing some legislative efforts. As a board, if we so choose to do resolutions, and I'm a strong proponent of us having resolutions that are, at the board level where the board signs on and says, we are against cuts to Pell. We are against, these things, because we do have the responsibility to advocate. And I'm glad that we are going to get the list, because I too am, participate in lobbying efforts via email, letters, phone calls, personal visits, because I think it's important. And if we're going to expect our students to be passionate about Mott Community College, then we need to lead by example in being passionate in the defense for them. I just wanted to make sure that that is all that is entailed in this. So I'm in favor of us doing this. I just wanted to make sure, I just wanted clarification.
Well, and we could, I suppose it might require a specific language related to each program. But the way the intent was that we would capture all legislative efforts that would be advantageous to, or again, as it's worded here, maintain the ability to offer, primarily related to funding resources and programs. So the ability to maintain those programs, enabling us to offer accessible, affordable, and high-quality educational opportunities. We can, if you'd like, we can table it and reword it.
I think that there is going to be a little bit of wordsmithing that needs to be done, because I've talked with legislators who have argued that cutting of these programs is going to enhance our ability to maintain the services that we're presenting to our students. I obviously see that differently, because less is less. Doing more with less too often is just not being able to do what we were doing before because we have less. And I think that a little bit of wordsmithing would, and I'd be more than happy to lend some some input on that as well. Because it's for, in the board's opinion, with the administration's opinion, what it means to maintain our ability. Because unfortunately and again, with the budget that passed the House, so much has been cut, but they're arguing, when they show up at town hall meetings, they're arguing that they are in fact doing a service to the students, and they're doing a service to the communities where these cuts are taking place. So I just want to make sure that we are, without being too specific, because I think we bog down if we get too specific with stuff, because you're always going to miss something, but that we are specific enough that this is our call on our ability. You, the administration, knows better than a part-time congressperson or part-time state legislator as to what is going to be required to maintain our ability to do the best job that we can at Mott Community College. And I just want to make sure that it has that kind of a punch with it. So that's all I have to say.
With that being said, this isn't a time-sensitive issue, correct? They could, tabling it to the next meeting would be fine? Okay. Art, would you like to make a motion?
I'll move that we postpone this until our next meeting.
Second.
There we go. Have a motion that's been seconded. Any discussion?
I just have a clarification in the motion. Postpone to next meeting, is that next regular meeting?
Yes, next regularly scheduled meeting. And whenever that might be rescheduled.
Okay, have any discussion?
Mr. Chair, if I could just add.
Yes.
The approved calendar that you, on the consent, July 28th would be the next regularly scheduled meeting.
That's cool. I'm good with it.
Okay. Okay, end of discussion. Roll call vote, please.
The motion on the floor is a motion to postpone item .1.62 to the next regular meeting of the board, which is presently scheduled for July 28th, 2025. Trustee Reyes.
Aye.
Trustee Walcott.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Chair Swanson.
Yes.
There are 4 ayes. The motion passes.
Okay, moving along. We're to 1.63 now. There's been several revisions to board policy that's been recommended by the Board Policy Committee. Wendy explained a little bit about that earlier. These are the first readings, and they will not require a vote. Yes, Shonda. Oh, I was going to say we can go into them.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to invite General Counsel John Godola to the podium to review the first readings of the next 3 board policy proposals that are on the agenda. John?
Thank you. Good evening to the President, Board Chair, and board members. The first policy that I bring for first reading is Board Policy Proposed 4631, Expressive Activity. It's been provided to you in its written form. The objective of this policy, this newly proposed board policy is designed to clearly articulate the Mott Community College policy, procedures, and commitment to supporting free expression on campus while maintaining a safe, respectful, and academically focused learning environment. The rationale for this policy is as a public institution, MCC affirms the constitutional rights of students, employees, and members of the public to engage in freedom of speech, peaceful assembly, and expressive activity. This proposed policy ensures those rights are clearly recognized and protected. Establishing formal policy and procedure provides clarity to the campus community regarding where, when, and how expressive activity can occur. This ensures consistent application of the rules across all individuals and groups while on campus. This proposed policy defines reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions that allow for expressive activity without interfering with MCC operations, instructional activities, or public safety. The rationale clearly defines policy and procedure, which helps Mott Community College ensure individuals' First Amendment rights are protected while minimizing the risk of legal disputes and inconsistent enforcement. This proposed policy promotes respect for diverse viewpoints while maintaining an appropriate educational environment and protecting the safety of all of those on campus. This proposed policy provides the logistical and legal framework to protect the college while allowing expressive activity as defined within this policy. And again, that's requested for the first reading.
So as you can see from the first reading, the policy itself is the same up until subsection 7. And I'll read it just out loud real quick. Subsection 7 states, the school will promptly readmit a service member with the same academic status as they had when they last attended the school or accepted for admission to the school. This requirement applies to any student who cannot attend school due to military service. What do I have circled? Oh my.
I'm not intending to read it. It's quite lengthy. My hope was for each of you to receive it in its form now. Please take your time, obviously, to read that. There will be a second reading, but for today's purposes, that first reading, I wanted to provide an overview and allow you the ability to read that on your own time. It is 9 pages. So I hope I saved you some time, Jordan.
Yes, I am sorry. I'm going through it all.
No, understand.
Okay. So, addition of board policy 4631, expressive activity. Freedom of thought and expression is essential to any institution of higher education. In developing and administering this policy, Charles Stewart Mott Community College, or MCC, or the college recognizes the freedoms guaranteed by the United States Constitution and Michigan Constitution. MCC also recognizes the need to preserve and protect its students, faculty, employees, guests, visitors, and property, and to ensure the effective operations of educational, business, and related activities of the college. MCC property is not off limits for expressive activity by students, faculty, employees, guests, visitors, or members of the public. Nevertheless, expressive activities at MCC may be constitutionally regulated where they infringe on the rights of others, such as materially disrupting classwork or creating substantial disorder. On the basis of the preceding information, the following edition of Board Policy 4631, expressive activity, is recommended by the Board Policy Committee as shown on pages 224 through 232. Be it resolved that the Charles Stewart Mott Community College Board of Trustees adopts the addition of Board Policy 4631, expressive activity.
That concludes the first reading.
You were on a roll. I thought you wanted to. 1.64, Amendment to Board Policy 7310 on military orders, first reading.
And I would like to address that the objective of this amendment, this update to Board Policy 7310 is the result of a Department of Defense audit. It updates the readmission policy for armed services members and ensure that aligns with Chapter 3, Volume 2 of the Federal Student Aid Handbook. The amendment to this policy would be maintaining paragraphs 1 through 6 with the added section 7, which would be this language. The school will promptly readmit a service member with the same academic status as they had when they last attended the school or accepted for admission to the school. This requirement applies to any student who cannot attend school due to military service, definition of military service, or service in the uniformed services, voluntary or involuntary service in the armed forces, including service by a member of the National Guard or Reserve on active duty for training, or full-time National Guard duty under federal authority. The school will admit the student with the same academic status, which means to the same program to which the student was last admitted, or if the exact program is no longer offered, the program that is most similar to that program, unless the student chooses a different program. At the same enrollment status, unless the student wants to enroll at a different enrollment status, with the same number of credit hours or clock hours previously completed, unless the student is readmitted to a different program to which the completed credit hours or clock hours are not transferable, and with the same academic standing, example, with the same satisfactory academic progress status the student previously had. The cumulative length of the absence and all previous absences from the school for military service may not exceed 5 years. Only the time the student spends actually performing the service is counted. Mott Community College is required to submit the remediation evidence form along with proof of an amended policy to the Department of Defense by August 13th of 2025.
Moving along to 1.65, Amendment to Board Policy 1640, Public Participation, first reading.
The objective of this policy governs public participation during Board of Trustee meetings. To improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the meetings, this amendment will reduce the public comment time limit from 3 minutes to 5 minutes. The change to the policy, as you can see, I don't intend to reread it, essentially is all redlined. There was significant change. I felt that highlighting the purpose or the reasons this is being made is to reducing individual comment time, help streamline board meetings, ensuring that all agenda items are reached in a timely and orderly manner while still accommodating public comment. The revised 3-minute time limit aligns with public comment practices used by many governing bodies and provides consistency with widely accepted governance practices. This policy preserves the essential function of public comment while enhancing the board's ability to conduct its work effectively. And again, as you can see, and I won't read the old policy as opposed to the proposed new, but you have it in front of you now as it came out of the policy committee for its first reading, and I'm happy to answer any questions about any of those three if any member has questions.
Are there any questions?
And Chair, if I could just add that, again, I appreciate the efforts of the policy committee. I appreciate their diligence in not only reading each word, understanding the effort that went into this, and their activities, their review, I quite frankly appreciate. So thank you to the policy committee for your work and effort in enhancing what I had presented to the committee.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay, 1.66, setting committee of the whole meeting. Now, Madam President has suggested a number of topics that would be more effectively discussed in a committee of the whole setting, including some board development and matters for future action. In a committee of the whole, discussion can freely take place, but there are no decisions made by the board members, and the public will be invited to attend. The agenda for this meeting is still being determined, and it probably will take place the first or second week in August. Shonda, would you like to comment any on that? No? I would entertain a motion to let Shonda set the date for this meeting at a date to be determined.
How long a meeting are you anticipating?
So I would expect in total, probably around 7 to 8 hours, so a full day, if we can arrange a Saturday, or if we, first off, most important, what works for the trustees, we could do an evening arrangement where we would do 2 subsequent evenings back to back for perhaps 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours each. And the other option would be a Saturday, so 9 to 4, 9 to 5. So depending on the trustees' availability for those who are planning to attend, there are a couple of different options that we have in the month of August. The Saturday would need to be toward the end of the month, and if we were to use the 2 weekday evenings, then I believe there are a couple of days in the first week of August. So we were going to send some of those date options to each trustee individually via email and solicit input as to what's best for each of you, and then select a date. And the reason for those specific dates is the involvement of ACCT, Mary Spildy, and part of the idea is to begin, the board can begin the strategic planning process. We talk about what that looks like and work toward getting that kicked off, which is really important to do as soon as possible.
Okay. With
Mr.
that
Chair,
being said,
you made a motion, but I didn't hear a second.
do we have a second to that motion?
Who made the motion?
He made the motion.
I would I didn't,
Oh, I thought you
I
said
said
I
I would
was.
entertain a motion.
Yeah, I didn't hear him.
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead, Candace. So moved.
Second.
Have a motion to authorize Shonda to plan the committee of the whole meeting at a date to be determined, correct?
Yes.
All right, and it's been seconded. Discussion?
Yeah, real quick. Oh, go ahead, Wendy. I'm
No,
sorry.
for me, it's easier just to get it over with in one day versus do 2 separate days. That's just my personal opinion. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm of a similar mind. Would this also be considered a retreat where we would have somebody come in with outside information as well, or is this a working meeting, committee of the whole meeting?
There would be someone from the outside coming in for a portion of it, and I would assume about half. So I'm expecting about 3 to 4 hours to cover strategic vision setting, strategic planning, no decisions to be made, but rather just reiteration of what's involved in laying out the steps in the process that the board would need to undertake to get that ball rolling. So there would be, I guess in terms of calling it a committee of the whole or a retreat, we can call it either one of those. We will notice the meeting. There will be no decisions made. It's more of a training or a relearning. I think most have been through this type of process in the past, but for our new trustees, this will be a first time going through the strategic planning process. But again, no decision-making, but it is more of a training. We also would like to review the new iPads and the use of those and have IT staff on hand to answer any questions in terms of getting logged into email, just making sure that all the trustees are comfortable in being able to use that new equipment. And what else do we have on the agenda? So it'll be a good agenda, but it's more or less training, and we determined, the chairman and I, committee of the whole, but I don't know if we want to call it a retreat. I don't think it matters either way. It's the same content, and there won't be any decisions made.
Yeah, I just thought that the word retreat had shown up, that the board would hold 2 retreats in our, I don't know if it's in the policies or whatever, but, we've typically had 2 retreats, which are committee of the whole meetings. You're right, it doesn't matter what we call it. But what I wanted to know if this was going to take the date of one of what I would consider a retreat, so. But, yeah, if it's committee of the whole, as long as it's posted and, we go through all of the regulations that we have to, yeah, we can call it, Jeff's Day of Fun.
I'm not sure it's going to be fun. Okay, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, item 12, board-generated ideas. I believe we're doing away with that anyways. So let's move on to the President's report. Madam President.
Thank you. I would like to invite Vice President Matthews to the podium to review the enrollment update.
I asked Mr. Perry to join me because he's been doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Madam President, Board of Trustees, and now you know why I wore a suit today. I had to come up twice. So, as you can see, the summer semester, we are up 8.8% compared to last year. And I think that number is going to remain there. So we just finished enrolling for our last 6-week summer term. So we can kind of count on that being the number that we're going to land with. For the fall, we are trending extremely well right now, 17.3% up in student headcount from last year. And I think right now is the time where we're going to start seeing the bulk of our enrollment come through. So the fact that we've made this much progress thus far is really, I think, a great harbinger of what's to come. Lastly, the payment deadline for the fall is August 18th, so we're working diligently to close that gap between registered and enrolled students, and we've made a tremendous amount of progress in the last couple of weeks. That's in large part due to the efforts, not all of Student Services, but especially financial aid. Zena and her team are doing a fantastic job. Is that good enough? Is it?
It's very good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, and I would just like to add, again, kudos and compliments and remind the board of the work that the Student Success Division under Al's leadership and Robert in terms of making improvements to our enrollment process. So Al inherited a 14-day enrollment process, which we received then a number of comments in relation to that and suggestions. It was truly a tremendous opportunity for improvement. And I asked Al to take a look at the entire value stream of that process and break it down. They did an extraordinary job, and in April unveiled a new enrollment process that's 5 steps and takes 5 hours. So a reduction of enrollment time from 14 days to 5 hours. And I believe, and we get a lot of feedback from our newly enrolled students that the process is working well. I was here for enrollment Saturday, just a couple of weeks ago. The team, Al and his team, enrolled 98 students in that 3 or 4 hour period. So it was almost record setting, I think you said, for an enrollment Saturday.
Yeah, I think doubled the average that we typically had, so it was definitely a record. Yeah.
And also the feedback he's given about the morale and how that's really helped the morale, just getting, simplifying the process and then being able to see the fruits of that labor has really boosted the morale of the department. And I'm just so proud, all of the work that they've done. It's really exciting to see, and especially when the students have positive feedback related to their experience. It is indeed an extraordinary student experience, and everyone's aligned in delivering that this year. So thank you.
Thank you.
Question? Sorry. And you may not be able to answer it now. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'd like to know what you think is driving, because that's a huge increase. I mean, that's outstanding. What's driving that? And I know that 2025 graduates were the first ones that everybody got offered the free community college. Are all of these students those students, or are we seeing, because typically we've been non-traditional students, what is the breakdown with our graduating seniors and our non-traditionals that are driving these numbers? Because this is outstanding, and kudos to you. But I'm just interested in doing a little bit deeper dive in the numbers.
So I think it boils down to a handful of different factors, like most things when it comes to enrollment. The community college guarantee is certainly a large part of that. It's been around for about 3 years now, and I think families and community members and graduating seniors are starting to realize that it's real, right? When you hear, hey, your tuition is free, I think oftentimes there's a little bit of second guessing. So we're certainly seeing an influx, and I think that bears in the numbers. So our first-time freshmen, most recent graduates, traditional students, that number has risen significantly. So the last time I looked, that number was like 1,300, somewhere in that neighborhood. So that's certainly part of it. I think a large part of it as well is the fact that the onboarding process has been streamlined. So historically, we left about 800 students, somewhere in between 800 and 900 students at the door each semester, simply because the process was so arduous to get through. I would say those are probably the two biggest reasons.
I'll add maybe one more. I think that there's a greater awareness, and there have been some very intentional efforts, and I would just, I'd just like to lift one of them. So Shonda asked Julie Nemeth in our marketing area earlier in the year to do a letter that went out to, I think it went to, I don't know, about 3,500, 4,000 local high school graduates and their parents in particular, to help them understand the Michigan Community College Guarantee and that it was real, right? And so I think even those things, it's like further reinforcement that while, some folks are kind of sitting on the fence, it's like this is a real opportunity and you can take advantage of it now. So I think those, a combination of those things definitely help.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. Next, Rebecca Martz, Associate Chief of Staff, will provide new hire update. Rebecca will be assisting with the fulfilling of Christy Dawley's duties, and we're working through those details. But thank you for being here this evening to review the new hire report.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Good evening, Board of Trustees. I have 4 individuals to introduce to you that were hired in May. So our first is Rayanna Smith. She's a custodian in our Maintenance and Operations Department. She has a high school diploma from Academy West High School, and she started with Mott as a temp through our NTech temporary services that we use, and before that, she worked for CSM Services as a janitor, so she comes with lots of experience. The next individual is Alex Shaw. He's our operator in printing and duplicating. And he has a high school diploma from Swartz Creek High School. And he's worked at Grand Blanc Printing, where he was operating and maintaining presses previously. He's also worked at Home Depot as an order fulfillment associate. So we're happy to have Alex part of the team. Next is Sue Moore. She's a custodian as well, and she has a high school diploma from Bendel High School. She worked previously at EduStaff as a custodian, and I just want to say that Sue works in the area that I've been working for the last 9 months, and she is just a breath of fresh air and full of sunshine. So I want to call her Sue Sunshine. And then lastly, we have Clemus Johnson. He is a job development specialist in our workforce area. And he has a master's degree from Western Governors University in Business Administration. And before coming to Mott, he was a supervisor distribution officer at the United States Postal Service, where he oversaw shift operations for various mail sorting machines, ensuring timely and accurate processing. So we're happy to introduce those 4 individuals from May. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Next, Dale Wayhill, Associate Vice President of Institutional Advancement, will review the grant summary.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, trustees. Happy Friday. I'm here to present the grant summary report for the months of April and May. There are 5 total grants that we landed during that time period. The first is going to the Flint and Genesee Literacy Network. We received acknowledgement of it on the 5th of May. It will provide books, $2,189.41 worth of books to the Literacy Network, so they can use that in their efforts to provide literacy services to our community. The next grant is going to Workforce Development Division. It is the Teen CEO program, which we've had for 18 years or so at the college. It is from the Charles Stewart Mott Foundation for $72,000. This program works with high school students, 40 or so every summer. Daphne Epps is the able leader of that within our organization. And that's a year-long grant, or excuse me, a 6-month grant starting on June the 1st. The next one is going to the Lenore Crowdy Family Life Center. It's a basic needs grant from the Community Foundation of Greater Flint for $15,000. It was awarded in mid-May. It is a year-long grant, and it will provide some of the services that are available over there in the way of the food pantry, child care, clothing closet, mental health services, transportation through bus passes, all those basic needs that they provide to our students so they stay in school. The next one is another grant to the Flint and Genesee Literacy Network. It's an adult literacy grant from the Dollar General Foundation, a national foundation, for $10,000. We received it on May the 21st. It is a year-long grant, or 11 months, looks like, and this is going to focus on adult literacy through that collaboration that is under the college. And then lastly, we have one to the MCC Fellowship in Music Scholarship Program, which is an initiative that Towns Miller music faculty started several years ago. It's housed within our foundation at the college. That is a $15,000 grant from the local Whiting Foundation. It is a year-long grant, and we received notification on May 27th of this year. So the April-May totals for grants, $114,189. The fiscal year to date, so from July 1 through the end of May of this year, $13,781,791 in grants. It doesn't include the foundation, which is a separate category. We added something new to this report. We have 21 pending grants as of the end of May 31st, or the end of May, so the 31st of May. Those are grants that we've submitted but not heard back one way or another, and the total of the 21 pending grants is $21,651,672. I yield back to you, Madam President, for questions.
Thank you, Dale. Are there any questions on the grant summary? Okay, next CFO Larry Gothrop will return to provide the quarterly investment update.
Okay. Oh, good evening. So I would like to present the quarterly investment update this is through March 31st. Next slide, please. So the college has two distinct considerations on its investment choices or options. The first is the board policy 3130, investments, which emphasizes compliance with Michigan compiled laws and to structure our investments to optimize safety, liquidity, and returns. The second is actually a Michigan compiled law 389.142, outlining the allowable investment types to be of the least risky in variety, consisting of federal obligations, CDs, savings accounts, or those that are really focused on investment earnings versus capital appreciation. Next slide. Since the college is restricted to income-producing types of investments, the Fed funds rate plays a significant role in our investment income. As presented, when the Fed fund rates increase, our investment income increases. Over the past 10 years, the Fed funds rate was at a low of 0.13% in 2015. It's increased to 4.33% at April 1st of 2025. As you can see, this significantly impacted the investment income from about $20,000 in 2015 to $1.78 million in fiscal year ended June 30, 2024, and $1.35 million for the first 9 months of this fiscal year. Next slide, please. So the other input affecting our investment income is the amount of funds available to invest. As you can see, over the past 10 years, our reserves have increased 33.5 million, or an inflation-adjusted $25 million. Next slide, please. In order to mitigate a concentration of credit risk, the college spreads its investments across 5 different financial institutions and across several types of allowable investment types, such as CDs, federal obligations, and sweep accounts. Next slide. Finally, we have our bond funds also are invested. These are invested in laddered maturities, depending on our capital needs and our projected needs of the monies that we'll need as our capital projects are undertaken. And these investments are in the same types of investments as our general fund reserves with the same restrictions. So that ends my investment update, and I will turn it back over to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Larry. Are there any questions on the investment update? Okay. Ross Domke will give an update on the Google Group configuration event. And John, you're joining as well. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you again, Madam President, Board. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So today I'm going to walk you through an event we identified and addressed. This began back in October. Some of you may have been aware of it. We've recently resolved it, and we sent out notification letters earlier at the beginning of this month. So to begin, I wanted to kind of talk about what this actually was. So what is a Google Group? So let me briefly explain. It's a collaborative email-based platform used at MCC for team communication, shared inboxes, distribution lists, access controls for things like permissions and things like that. In essence, it's a powerful tool. It allows us to manage communications and permissions efficiently across the college. So go ahead, next slide. So what actually was the misconfigured setting? So while evaluating a new technology tool, we actually discovered that there was a group that had the who can view conversation settings set incorrectly to the entire organization. So this setting meant that any Mott affiliated user, student, faculty, staff, anybody with an mcc.edu account could view these conversations within those groups, potentially including sensitive messages. This option was added by Google back in 2019, but went unnoticed by IT. I do want to stress that this was a misconfiguration and not a breach or a hack. This was discovered internally by MCC ITS, not due to an external trigger like a complaint or leaked documents. So go ahead to the next slide. So for the scope of the misconfiguration, altogether we had 92 groups that were affected. This discovery occurred during, like I said, during the evaluation of new software package designed to enhance our security posture and reduce software sprawl. It allowed us to identify a first misconfigured group, and upon this discovery, we began our internal investigation and audited all 44,000 of our Google groups. Next slide. So we immediately documented and corrected the misconfigured groups within, I think the original discovery began at 10 a.m. and we had all groups corrected by 12 p.m. And in parallel, we engaged our cybersecurity insurance provider, SetSeg, who sub-insures with Beasley, who is a cybersecurity insurance expert, as well as McDonald Hopkins, who are legal experts in data privacy to ensure that our response aligned with best practices. I am pleased to report we found no evidence of misuse or malicious activity to date, and both Beasley and McDonald Hopkins worked with us to audit all documents potentially exposed, and they worked to make sure that we complied with reporting requirements with the varying regulatory bodies, whether that was the Department of Ed, the FCC, and state attorney generals. This was all covered cost-wise under our cybersecurity insurance. So go ahead, next slide. The final piece is the support that we had for affected individuals. So with support from Beasley, we were able to identify contact information for all individuals involved, and we offered credit monitoring and identity protection services to anyone potentially impacted. Notifications letters were sent out via mail with activation codes, and a dedicated helpline was set up to answer any concerns. Go ahead.
And I just wanted to add again and emphasize that the insurance provider was notified and provided subject matter expert legal representation for the college.
Any questions? Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you. And John, you can remain. So our last item under President's Report is the executive orders update. And we have created a summary of anticipated impact to the college for some of the proposed changes, legislative changes that are currently being reviewed. And it is in the package under item 1.62, and we're going to cover it now under the President's Report. And so, John, maybe you just want to review some of the key highlights and really the total dollar amount of some of those legislative actions and what the impact could be if they were allowed to go through.
And thank you again to the President, to the Board Chair, and to the Chair, the Board members. The impacts that we have, what I want to do is you've received the documents. We have worked diligently, Dale Wayhill, others have worked with respect to preparing a letter that, quite frankly, I want to review with respect to how important it is to work with our state and federal partners as far as what may be affected within the college. The absence of programs like Michigan Reconnect, the Michigan Community College Guarantee, Pell Grants, Federal Work Study, Perkins Career Technical Education, and other initiatives would be a detriment to the college to the extent that the potential reduction to these key appropriations and programs, if they were to materialize, we estimate a possible state-level impact of more than $13 million and potential federal reduction of $21.8 million for a combined total of almost $35 million. We're working with those numbers, which quite frankly sound staggering, but to work with lawmakers. We've had conversations, discussions. The President, board members, Dale, others have gone to lawmakers just to emphasize how critically important this funding is. We also are monitoring every day, quite frankly, and every week, the executive orders and the potential impact. I report to the executive cabinet every week, once a week, with respect to those changes. Most of the legislation is involved in litigation. Even today, before I came to this meeting, just waiting for the meeting to begin, what looked like bipartisan support for workforce Pell Grants, that optimism for that bipartisan support appears to be wavering, and that is, again, more staggering news that we just have to be aware of. I have told the executive cabinet when I report to them, I don't want to always feel like I'm delivering bad news, but I feel like I'm delivering reality of what it is we're facing. So those are the bottom lines. The detailed information is provided for you in your packets. And Madam President, anything further in detail you wanted me to cover, I'm happy to answer questions if necessary.
Are there any questions? Okay. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
That includes your...
That does conclude the President's report. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, we'll move along to board comment. I'd like to go first on the board comment. Paula Weston had brought up that we had this meeting scheduled on a Friday at 3:30, and I wanted to address why that was. Trustee John Daly had a tragic event happen in his life. His wife had suffered a stroke. That's bad enough. She ended up passing away, but we wanted to, out of respect for John, we wanted to move the meeting. I would have loved to moved it further down the road. However, we were bound by state law that we had to pass a budget by the 30th. And with that being said, I talked with board members, and I decided to move the meeting to today. It was a very long agenda, so we started at 3:30. It went a little quicker than the meeting went quicker than what I anticipated, which means we'll get out of here early, but this reschedule was out of respect for John and his family. With that being said, our thoughts and prayers are with John. Any other comments? Art?
I want to reference the report we just got from General Counsel. It's so important that, as he said, we had seen what looked like bipartisan support for the workforce Pell, which is very important to Mott Community College. We're a nonpartisan board, but we all bring politics with us. We bring voting records. We vote for who we vote for and contribute to who we contribute to, et cetera, et cetera. It is often difficult to talk to somebody across the aisle because of the nature of the political environment that we're in now, even if it's something that, too often when you're talking to the staff of the state representative or the congressional representative, they want to know that you've supported the individual who's in office. And so I implore upon everyone, without asking who anybody voted for, that's the reason that we have a closed voting booth. But reach out to the people that you've supported for whatever reason that you supported them, unless that reason was cuts to education, damage to students, cuts to Pell Grants. If those were the reasons that you voted for an individual, don't call them. But if you, and I follow this advice, so this is not something that I'm not preaching, but at the same time, it's important. If you support somebody and voted for somebody because of their stances on other issues, enforce that, reinforce that with them, but tell them, you know, we stand in disagreement because of this. I supported your candidacy. I voted for you. I support you. However, I need your support. Our students need your support. It's easier to have a conversation with somebody that you can find common ground with and then go from there than it is, because when I call, and I'm very politically active. I'm in the political apparatus of the UAW. So when I call a state representative, they know who I am. And sometimes that opens a door, and sometimes that leaves a bruise on my nose because the door closes so fast that there's just no way that I'm going to make any headway with them. But I ask of my fellow trustees, reach out to the people that you have supported and talk to them about how important what's happening with this budget is to Mott Community College and its students. That is one of the greatest services I think that we can provide to our students.
Thank you, Art. Are there any other comments? Well, we've already done our closed session. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion to adjourn, seconded. Any discussion? The voice vote on adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
You want to stick around, huh?
Yeah, aye.
Yeah, ayes have it.